Many of us had thought about starting a YouTube channel, and it may feel like a pretty big decision because when we think about starting something new, we might think about the results and where it could lead. A big audience, thousands of subscribers, a lot of comments, and if we get lucky enough, we may make some money. When I was thinking about starting this channel, I spent hours monitoring other big channels on YouTube. I checked their views, their subscribers, and even the money they were earning on Social Blade. And honestly, it was exciting, but kind of scary at the same time. And because of that, a question hit me. I was like, okay, this person had been doing this for like 7 years. Can I actually do something for 7 years? And if I don't be successful, what would happen? Am I wasting my time, or am I choosing the wrong topic? The big channels felt so untouchable that it almost stopped me from starting. I saw people that were a few steps ahead of me, but they almost quit. And technically, both of them scared the hell out of me. Then I was sitting to myself and I thought that if I make like 20-30 videos and my channel doesn't grow, what would happen next? What if people don't like the content that I'm making? Or what if I don't make enough subscribers? I don't get enough likes or comments? What would actually happen next? I remember hearing the idea that if you spend 10,000 hours on something, you become master at it. But even thinking about spending 10,000 hours on doing something just made me exhausted. So, with all those doubts in my head, how did I end up here and started my channel? The answer is probably the opposite of what you hear online as a success advice. It's definitely not one of those just believe in yourself stories. There are many pieces of advice about goals, and almost all of them start from the same idea. First, you need to figure out what you want. Build a plan and then follow the plan, which seems reasonable. Let's go back to the YouTube channel example. Let's say that my goal is to make a big channel. These are the list of the things that I might need: professional lighting, clear audio, high quality editing, and engaging thumbnails. And then I have to learn about algorithms, I need to work on my storytelling skills, and I have to stay consistent, obviously. So based on that, I make a plan. And it feels like I'm standing at the bottom of a mountain and my goal is way up there. And everything between me and my goal starts to feel like a long walk. And of course, there comes another problem, because when you're climbing a mountain, everything is not gonna stay still and things might change. For example, a few years ago, no one was making AI generated videos, but now they're literally everywhere. Or some other types of channels were making some specific types of videos, but these days they're trying so hard to stay relevant. The thing you're aiming for today might not even exist in the same form a few years from now. So generally, we might face two major problems. The goal is far away and the target keeps moving. It's kind of like trying to hit something when you're in the dense fog and you cannot see anything. And when all your satisfactions depends on reaching that special moment someday, it's really hard to enjoy where you are. You're always waiting until the channel gets bigger, until you make more money, until you finally feel successful. So until you reach that special moment, there's this constant feeling that keeps telling you you're behind. That's where a lot of stresses come from. It's not because we're lazy or we do something wrong. It's mostly because we've convinced ourselves that our life is going to start later, after we get to the goal or become the person that we always wanted to be. So what if getting there was never actually the point? What if we've been looking at this completely backwards? I think part of the problem comes from the way that we think about time. Most plans assume that time moves in a straight line. 1 week, 1 month, God knows how many years. And what we don't see here is that not all weeks are the same and equal. Can you honestly say that every month matters equally? Because for me, there are entire years that I barely remember, but there might be some special tiny moments that completely changed the way that I think about my life. It can be a specific conversation, a chapter of a book, a new project, or even a new person. Something happens and then suddenly you're moving into a completely different direction. That's why I always found the long-term planning a little bit useless. Because the things that changes the most are usually unpredictable. You can't schedule them, or put them on a calendar 5 years in advance. You just go through and discover them. And if that's true, then maybe trying to map out every step of the journey isn't the answer either. Maybe the goal doesn't predict where you will end up. Maybe you should stay open enough to discover what's actually worth pursuing. If the goals aren't actually the answer, what is? I came across an idea that completely changed the way that I think about starting new things. Instead of treating life like a project, wouldn't it be more fun to look at it as an experiment? Think about a real situation for a second. When scientists run an experiment, they don't already know the answer, because if they did, there would be no reason to run it. The whole point is to learn something, to test an idea, and finally gather the information. Maybe that's the exact part that we forget. When I started this channel, I was acting like I needed to know the ending before I even started. There are so many channels out there explaining how to make videos. Do this and you'll get views. Use this specific format. Follow this strategy. And let's assume they're right. Even then, there are some questions remained about me. Am I comfortable enough to sit in front of a camera, or can I actually accomplish this? What kind of videos fit my personality? And what's the best way to share the feelings or the ideas that I have in my mind? These are the questions that I couldn't find the answers in advance. And the only way to know was to start. And that's very different from chasing a goal. With a goal, success means reaching a destination. But with an experiment, success means learning something new, even if the results isn't what you expected. Let's say I make 20 videos and nobody watches them. In a goal mindset, that's a total failure. But if I look at it as an experiment, I've tried something that I have never done before. Maybe the topic is not interesting. Maybe my storytelling needs work, or maybe I actually don't like and enjoy making these videos as much as I thought I would. These are all useful discoveries. The experiment gave me something valuable. Because the point was never to prove that I was right. The point was to find out how I would face this matter. Even talking about it makes the life road much easier. You don't have to carry the burden of a 5-year plan on your shoulders. And there is no pressure of knowing where this leads. You just need to know what you're testing next and try to make it a little bit better. And because of that, I'm going to try a new format for my next week video, which I'm actually excited about it. And I would be flattered if you subscribe and be the first one to watch it.